Today, we're going to unpack the story behind one of the most remarkable documents in modern history, the Constitution of India.
I mean, just think about that for a second. It's 1947, British rule is over, and suddenly, you have to unite a brand new nation with hundreds of languages, all the world's major religions, and over 550 separate princely states, all under a single coherent set of rules. That was the monumental challenge.
2 years, 11 months, and 18 days. That's exactly how long it took the Constituent Assembly to debate, draft, and finalize their answer. What they created was nothing short of an architectural blueprint for the world's largest democracy. So let's explore how they built it.
So, to really get a handle on this incredible achievement, we first need to appreciate the sheer scale of the task they were facing.
Okay, so picture this. The Independence of India Act of 1947 ends British rule. That's the starting gun. But the country itself was this incredibly complex puzzle of old provinces and all those princely states. Without a foundational rulebook, a text to define the nation's values and the rights of its people, the risk of the whole thing just fragmenting was huge. A clear path forward wasn't just important, it was essential for survival.
So, how did they even begin to craft this grand blueprint? And what was the core vision that was guiding them through this massive undertaking?
Well, this was no rushed affair, not at all. The idea for a constituent assembly had actually been floating around since 1934. Once it was finally formed in 1946, its members spent nearly 3 years meticulously debating every single clause. They studied over 60 other constitutions from around the world, looking for the best ideas that would fit India's unique context.
And right at the heart of this whole process was the drafting committee, led by its brilliant chairman, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. He's often called the father of the Indian Constitution, and for good reason. He made sure this document was way more than just a dry set of laws. You can hear it in his words right here. He saw it as a living guide for the nation, a vehicle for social and economic progress.
And that vision, it's captured perfectly on the very first page, the preamble. You can think of it as the mission statement for the entire country, or like its identity card. It establishes right away that the ultimate authority comes from we, the people of India, and it lays out the core values that define the nation itself.
And these values, they're the absolute pillars of the Constitution. Sovereign. India is its own boss, answering to no foreign power. Secular. The state respects all religions equally, playing no favorites. Democratic Republic. Power lies with the people, who exercise it through their elected representatives. And these pillars are there to support the great objectives for every single citizen: justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity. These aren't just ideals, they are the benchmarks, the standard against which every law in India has to be measured.
Okay, so you have these lofty, beautiful ideals in the preamble. But how do you translate that into real, everyday practice? Well, the foundation of the relationship between you, the citizen, and the state is built on a system of clear, enforceable guarantees.
Now this part is just brilliant. The Constitution creates this amazing balance. Think of it this way. Fundamental rights are your shield. They protect you by stopping the state from infringing on your liberties, like your freedom of speech. And crucially, they are legally enforceable. You can actually go to court to defend them. On the other hand, you have the directive principles. Think of these as a roadmap. They are positive goals the state is directed to work towards, like ensuring fair wages for everyone. They are the moral guide for building a more just society.
And here's the most important point. These fundamental rights aren't just suggestions. They are legally protected guarantees. The Supreme Court stands as the ultimate guardian, making sure the state can't just take them away. This power of enforcement is so critical that Dr. Ambedkar himself called it the very heart and soul of the Constitution.
All right, so the architects designed rights for the people. But how did they design the actual machinery of government to manage such a mind-bogglingly diverse country? Well, they created a very unique balancing act.
See, the Indian system of government is a unique hybrid. It's not purely federal like the United States, where states have massive amounts of power. And it's not purely unitary like the United Kingdom, where power is very centralized. Instead, it's a blend of both. It's got 2 levels of government and a clear division of powers, like a federal system, but it also has a really powerful central government and single citizenship, which are classic features of a unitary system.
And this design was completely intentional.
It allows all that regional autonomy and diversity to flourish within the states, while making sure the central government has enough muscle to maintain national unity, integrity, and security. It's a system that's designed for cooperation, not confrontation.
Now, the architects were smart. They knew that India would change in ways they couldn't even imagine. So they didn't create a rigid, static blueprint. They designed a living document, one that could adapt and evolve with the times.
The key to its incredible longevity lies in Article 368, the amendment process. It strikes this fantastic balance between being flexible and being rigid. To change most parts of the Constitution, you need a special majority in Parliament. That's a pretty high bar. And if you want to change the core federal features, you not only need that, but you also need the approval of half of all the state legislatures.
But there's one final, ultimate safeguard. The Supreme Court, in a historic ruling, established what's known as the Basic Structure Doctrine. This means that while Parliament can amend the Constitution, it cannot alter or destroy its fundamental pillars. Things like democracy, secularism, federalism, and the rule of law. You can renovate the building, but the foundation is untouchable.
And that, of course, brings us to today. The blueprint that was laid down over 75 years ago was never meant to be an endpoint. It was a starting line. It continues to guide the journey of over 1 billion people, and its principles are debated, tested, and reinterpreted every single day. The true legacy of this incredible document isn't just in how it was written, but in how it continues to be lived, challenged, and adapted by the very people it was made for.